My name is Blaise Aboh. I'm the founding partner of Orodata Nigeria. Orodata Nigeria is a civic tech organization, or more like a civic tech startup. We use visual data to monitor and facilitate processes, track resources, disasters, predict outcomes, foster accountability, and citizen engagement. For us, our data, we use interactive visualizations to try to communicate. We leverage our design thinking, our creativity. We leverage our analytical perceptions and instincts to try to understand data, to see data as they are, to try to communicate this data to the citizens, to public who of course may or may not have time or the resources of the ability or skills to actually understand this data. We gather this information which we know that the citizens are not able to have access to. So we simplify them using infographics, static visualizations, and interactives. Then we communicate them to the public where and when they need to see it. So what is my motivation for starting Orodata, or for co-founding Orodata? Well, in 2014, before the elections in Nigeria, our general elections, where we had the two major parties, the PDP, the People's Democratic Party, and the All Progressive Congress candidates, were running neck and neck to see who will emerge victor. So during the campaign, there was a lot of information around, a lot of propaganda. So the candidates, the election candidates, were not really telling the people what they needed to understand. They weren't telling them the promises. They weren't really making promises. They weren't giving them, showing the agendas that they wanted the people to see, the solutions that they were bringing to the table. They weren't bringing these things. So they had just had a lot of propaganda. So Nigeria, being a country of over 170 million people, we have our tribal issues. We have our religious issues, and so during the elections, the party candidates brought out these issues, the tribal issues, the religious issues and other issues, and brought them to the fore, and that was what they used to try to drive engagement, to try to drive people to their own side, to try to amass votes. And for us, our data, we saw that part, and we understood that this was not what the people needed to know. The people needed to know what these people were bringing to the table, what the candidates who the people wanted to vote for during the elections were bringing to the table. What were they going to do for Nigerians for the next 4 years, next 8 years? What problems we're going to solve for us? Were they going to solve our electricity problems? Were they going to tackle our corruption problems? Were they going to solve our healthcare issues or our educational issues? They were not really talking about these problems. So for us at our data, we saw that this was the way the communication was going, and we wanted to tell the people a different story. So we tried to understand what the people wanted, and for that we leverage some online open source platforms. We use these platforms to try to understand what people were saying. So we did some sentiment analysis to see what were people saying, where were they, how were they saying these things, what did they need, what did they want to hear. We asked these questions, and then we leveraged the online platforms that we were working with to analyze the sentiments, to understand what the people wanted, what the electorate wanted. And from that understanding, we were able to carve a narrative. During the elections, we launched a platform called Elections Data Analytics and Visualization, EDAV, and the EDAV project. And the EDAV project was launched around December 12, 2014. The project was solely to properly communicate election data, leveraging storytelling creatives and narratives, leveraging infographics, leveraging visualizations. So what we did was we tried to understand what people needed to see, what people needed to listen to or hear, and we visualized it and then published it on numerous social media platforms. And the result, the engagement was so massive. People embraced it. People needed to see those things. For example, we had one of our creatives that we call voting procedure in 60 seconds. The infographics was our most viral infographics, because people needed to know what was going to happen on that election day. So we had so many other infographics that we had during that time, and for us, we leveraged the data to try to push out information that was tangible for people to actually make informed decisions. For us, it's all about allowing people, the public, the citizens, to make informed decisions. That was how our data started, because at the end of that project, we saw that we had reached over 1 million people using infographics, using visualization more than ever before during elections. Once we had the understanding that this was something we shouldn't let go. So I and a couple of friends, we sat together and say, hey, how do we put together the understanding we have here in this project, the election data analytics project? And so we launched our data, and that was how our data was formed. And today we continue to do what we do in the civic space, in the civic tech space, trying to properly communicate resources, disasters, security issues, leveraging infographics for the public to understand, to make informed decisions.